everyone, my name is Teacher Lena, and in this video, I wanted to talk to you about your mock interview with Blingabc. So I did my mock interview with Bling, and I was a little bit unhappy with how I performed on that mock interview. So hopefully in this video, I can give you some tips on what you can do to prepare for that mock interview. They do give you some videos and everything so that you can prepare for it. But in case you want to watch this video before you even go into the interview, interview process, then this will give you something to kind of work on as you get familiar with what Bling is about. So I'm just trying to give you some tips. So like I said, I wasn't really happy with how I performed, although they do rate you in your interview um, after you have submitted all of your paperwork and they have approved you for a mock interview. Then you meet with staff people, the interview people, and they will meet you. It was at the time for me, it was on Class In, but now they have Roombox, so you'll probably meet them on Roombox. And it was two people, and they sat with me and they asked me questions. Well, I should say they didn't sit with me, but we were in the Roombox together, and I saw them on the screen. And they asked me questions at first, and then it's only like 30 minutes I was scheduled for my interview. So they asked me questions, and then after that, they give you about 15 minutes to go through your mock class with them, and they pretend to be the students. And although I was able to show them my TPR and my smile, and I brought a lot of energy to the classroom, I just felt like I could have prepared a little bit more with knowing the features of the classroom. Like one thing I was trying to do is they suggest that when you greet them, you bring your face down to what they call the blackboard. The blackboard is when you pull the faces from the top of the room box frame to the middle of the board, and so that you can make your face larger. Now it's a little bit different in Roombox than it was in Class In. In Class In, you can really enlarge your face. In Roombox, you can enlarge it a little bit, but that feature was really hard for me to maneuver. So I kept on messing that up and making my face and everyone's face way too big, and I didn't practice how to make it the correct size. So, like I said, Roombox is a little bit different, but just remember, you need to bring the faces down and greet everyone, which I did greet them. And then after you do that, then you can go into your whole presentation of the lesson. Another thing that I was not really happy with is I lost track of time, which I mean, was kind of surprising for me. I was like, I always keep my eye on the clock, but you're in a different situation with different people, so you kind of, you do things a little differently. You forget things, and so something for you to keep in mind: keep your eye on the clock. They had to stop me, and I lost points because of it. And like I said, they grade you, so if you lose points, then you can go from an A to a B. There's only there's a small percentage of people who make an A in your initial mock interview. So, don't feel so bad if you make a B. It's like 63% of their teachers make a B in the mock interview, and then, it goes from C to D to F. I believe if you probably make an F. I'm not sure if they hire you or not, but you can be hired with a C. It just will determine how many classes you will get right away, because obviously they give the teachers that score higher, they give them more classes. So you want to score as high as you can, and then you can also do it again. You don't have to be happy or settle for whatever you got the first time. You can redo your interview and you can get scored higher. And I could have done that, but I just I didn't. I wanted to get the process over with because it was right around the time of the holidays and I was going on vacation, and I just wanted to finish it. So I settled with my B and with my lack of time, losing time. Anyhow, so be careful. time. So then you're given 15 minutes to go through the slides. So let's go through the slides so you can kind of know how you can teach these slides. And because I'm trying to protect or give them privacy of their curriculum, I don't want to show them the slides on, on YouTube, but I'll just describe them to you. So the first one is where you are, first, like I said, you introduce yourself to everyone. You say hello to everyone in the class. If it's 3 people, you introduce yourself to 3 people. If it's 15, then you go through all 15 and you say hello. Hello, very briefly. Hello, Bob. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Elsa. Very quickly, so it doesn't take a long time. It should take like a minute, maybe a minute and a half to greet your students. And then this one was called Lemonade. And what I like to do is I like to take the highlighter pen and I like to highlight the title and say, I can make lemonade. And then you have them repeat it, I can make lemonade. And then you have them say it. You're giving the TPR, the signal for them to repeat it after you. And then you could say, well, actually, on this first page, you just say, let's get started after you introduce the title and you greet them. And then you say, let's get started. And you could say, let's go. Let's get started. Are you ready? Yes? Okay, let's go. And then you go to the next slide. And the next one is, they call it roadmaps. This is another thing that I got a little bit, I took for granted. Okay, the roadmaps, they actually want you to stop and they want you to read them and they want you to do something to kind of like let them know what they are getting ready for. So it says warm up. So I highlight it now. I highlight it and I say warm up. I have them repeat it, warm up. You wait for them to say it. And then, I do something like warm up. If it's smaller kids, I pretend to warm up or do some kind of exercise. And then we go on to the next one. That takes like 5 seconds. Should not take a long time. And what I have learned to do also with their slides for regular classes is I go through and I give myself time stamps or I give myself a map. Like at 20 minutes, I need to be on slide number X. And all of their lessons have different number of slides in it. So you have to kind of see what your class is and what your lesson is, and you have to kind of do the math yourself, adding up the minutes that are underneath each of the pictures on the slides. They give you like, spend 2 minutes on this and 1 minute on that. And so you can kind of add those up and see like, okay, at 20 minutes, I should be here. So the next one is a girl and she's holding a lemon and she's got this face like, oh, it's sour, right? Sour. So you circle the lemon and you say, do you know what this girl is eating? Do you know what this girl's eating? Do you think she likes it? Give them time to answer the question. And how do you know? Those are the 3 questions they have in bold letters on the teacher notes and the teacher notes. So you can ask them those questions. How do you know? And then you can kind of motion. Oh, her face. Is she happy? No. She, like that, right? She looks like, That's kind of what I did to signify she thinks it's sour. They probably don't know that word yet, so I just make that sour face. And then you don't want your caution not to teach the word lemon yet. They might say, oh, that's a lemon. Then you can say, oh, yes, good. But you don't teach that word lemon yet and have them repeat it. You just go to the next slide saying, let's get started learning about a drink we can make with this fruit. Those are the bold words that they want you to say. And then you go to the next slide and it says, listen up. It's a road map slide. So you highlight it and you say, listen up, right? Listen up, everyone. And then you go to the next one and you can say, it's a picture of 3 lemons. Well, a lemon that's cut in half and another lemon. So you can circle the word and say, these fruits are lemons. Lemons are sour. Sour. There's the word sour. And then you make that face. And then you get everyone else to say, lemon. Can you say lemon? Lemon. And you want to try to remember to point to your mouth. This is a good TPR motion for the student to know they should say what it is you are saying. So lemon. Ah, good job. And try to have them repeat that. Then you go to the next one. See, it's taking a long time. If you don't go through quickly, you're going to run out of time on these slides. So you want to, I'm talking a lot, so it is going a little bit longer, but just you can see how much time each of these slides can take up. Okay. So the next one is there's a picture of a girl in the kitchen, and she has a knife and she's cutting the lemons, and the word cut is on the screen. So you want to circle the word cut, and you can say, how do you make lemonade? First, you need to cut, right? Cut, and you do the TPR, and you can, circle the word cut, and then you can point to your mouth and say, cut. And then you let them say, cut. And then, of course, they're probably saying it with you as you're doing all of these motions anyhow, but just make sure if they didn't do it, you're giving them the signal to do it. And then, after they've repeated the word cut a couple of times, you go to the next page and it's squeeze, right? Squeeze. Next, you need lemon juice from the cut lemons. To get the juice from a cut lemon, you need to squeeze it like this. Squeeze, right? You're doing the motion, squeeze. Can you squeeze? Squeeze the lemon, okay? And then they all say squeeze, say squeeze. All right, good job. And then you go to the next one. The next one is, it actually says on the slide, how do you make lemonade? And so you want, the goal is to have them say that, and then you cut lemonade is at the bottom. It says you cut lemons at the bottom. So after you highlight the lemons, the knife, and the question, then you ask, I'm reading the notes, then you ask, how do you make lemonade? How do you make lemonade? And then you highlight the response as you say, you cut the lemons. So then you circle the words cut lemons and prompt the students to repeat the words cut lemons several times. So they want you to have them repeat the word cut lemons. You cut lemons several times. That's what they want you to say. And after you highlight the lemons, you highlight the knife, you ask the question, how do you make lemonade? And then you highlight the response as you say, you cut lemonades. And then you have them say, you cut lemonades. You cut lemonades. Okay? So yeah, it takes a little time to kind of get used to exactly to know what the students are expected to say. Because some of it is just for you to ask the question and not for them to say, at least not right away. Maybe later in the lesson they might say both sentences, but they're trying to build up to saying more in the lesson. So the next roadmap slide is try it. Okay, so now it's you try it. Your turn. All right, and then you can highlight and say try it. All right, try it. Okay, and then you go to the next slide, and it has the question in red, how do you make lemonade? And you can highlight the lemons and say, how do you make lemonade? How, right? And then you can prompt one student to circle the correct option. This is where you start using the features on Roombox. So you have to know, like, how can you allow the student to circle something on the page? You need to be familiar with it's like a little wand that each of the faces on Roombox, each of the faces will have, at the top, it'll have a place to give each student stars. It'll have a mic so that you can allow them to talk or not talk, and it'll have a place to give access so that they can write on the board. So you would click on it once you bring a student down so they can have a turn, then you would click on the wand so that they can actually circle the word lemons, right? Prompt one student to circle the correct option and say, you cut lemons. So you have the student and the group can repeat with you, say, you cut lemons. You cut lemons. Okay? So she's circling. You can say, circle lemons, right? Circle lemons. So they will circle those lemons, and then you give them a thumbs up, good job, good job. You can even give that one student a star because they were on the blackboard in front of everyone, so give them a star. And that's if they circle it correctly too. So if they don't, then you can correct them and have them circle the correct one. But it's saying here that if they agree or disagree, ask the other students if they agree. If they agree with what the one student has circled. This is how they kind of incorporate everybody into what one student is doing, especially if you have a group of 10. So if you ask the one student, how do you make lemonade? You cut, that's how you should really do it. You cut what, Susie? What do you cut? Can you circle? What? And it says apple, oranges, or lemons. It actually gives you those 3 choices. So what do you cut? Oh, lemons, if she's circling the right answer. Lemons. Okay. So group 1, because, if you have a big group, they're divided into group 1, 2, or 3. And you could say, group 1, do you agree? Yes or no? Because you can see them on the, you can see their faces. You can't see group 2 or 3 at the same time, but you can see one group at a time. So they can all motion yes or no to vote. Do you agree with Susie? Is it lemons? And they can say yes, or they can say no. Okay, so that's how you would do that. It's a lot to put into this. That's why it's very good to prepare and know what is expected and how to work with these large number of students who could be in your class. So the next page is how it says, how do you make lemonade? And it has the same picture of a boy in the kitchen cutting lemons. And it says, as an answer, you cut lemons. And then it says, prompt the students to repeat the question and response. So now everybody will repeat it with you, and you can highlight it with the pen on the screen. Okay? And then you go to the next one. This is 12 of 18. So then they have, how do you make lemonade? The question again. And then it says and then it has 3 choices. You eat, you squeeze, or you mix lemons. And then again, you bring one student down and you say, Bob, how do you make lemonade? And the boy in the picture is squeezing. So you could say, circle. You eat, squeeze, mix, Bob, and then remember, you have to allow him or give him access to his pen so that he can circle the right answer. So, if he circles eat, then you say, okay, group 2. If he's from group 2, is this correct? Do you eat lemons? Yes or no? And then they give you the answer. Say, oh, Bob, they said no. Maybe squeeze, Bob? Squeeze? Circles, squeeze. Is it squeeze? Yes. Good job. All right. And then you go to the next one. Something like this. Doesn't have to be exactly the way I'm doing it. You might have a different way that you're comfortable with doing it or prefer to do it. So these are just some tips or suggestions. So the next page, again, it's a repeat. How do you make lemonade? And then the answer is you squeeze lemons, and you're getting everyone to say it. So you highlight, how do you make lemonade? Give them a chance to say it. Highlight, you squeeze lemons. All right, okay, next, and that's just 1 minute, and you're on to the next slide, and it's a roadmap, and it says your turn. So then you say, you highlight it and say your turn. Your turn, everyone. Your turn. Give them a chance to say what it says on there. And then this pair work was a little bit tricky for me to get used to. It will have a picture of 2 yellow squares, And what they want you to do is select two students to pair up so everyone can see what they're doing. And it says, have the students ask each other, how do you make lemonade? This is a good time to use the text option. You can type on underneath the boxes if they're not understanding. If they do understand what you're communicating, then that's okay, because you want to tell them, Bob, can you say, how do you make lemonade? And then the other student should say, you cut lemons, or you squeeze lemons. So you could say, Susie, you say, you squeeze lemons. Okay? And if they are kind of unsure of what you're doing, then they might just repeat everything that you say. Bob and Susie will repeat everything. So that's why having the text, typing it underneath the picture, can help for them to know what to do. And then you could bring other students down, if you have time, to actually practice right here. But for the interview, you'll just have two interviewers, or two people to help you. So you'll just give them one turn, and then you'll go on to the next slide, because you don't have that much time. But in a typical class, you can bring down students to practice at this slide, and then you can have those words typed out, and then the student can know what to say every time they come on. Because if it's not their turn, those students might be they're not paying attention all the time. They're not listening to what the other students are doing on the screen. You hope that they are listening, and watching, but there are those students who have trouble with focusing, or they might be distracted by somebody in the room with them. So if you have those written notes or directions on the board, just a sentence of what they say, then that helps them to know what to do and what to say, and it saves you time. So then after that Pear Work page, you're on page 16 now, and it says at home, right? And then you could say at home. Right, that's the roadmap. And then it says, it's a picture of a girl who's got a lemonade stand, and she's got a glass of lemonade. And then at the top it says, make lemonade. So you can underline the words and say, make lemonade, make lemonade. And then it says, draw a lemon and a glass of lemonade on the blackboard. So you could use your pen to draw a glass of lemonade and encourage students to make lemonade at home and to practice the words they've learned today. So this is a review page too. So you could say, make lemonade, then you can draw a picture of a lemonade glass, and then you can say, now you can make lemonade at home, okay? Right? Good job. And then you can go into your review. So today we said, how do you make lemonade? Or you could point to your mouth and say it, and then they can repeat, how do you make lemonade? And then you say, you cut lemons. You squeeze lemons. All right, and you can add those TPR motions in there too. You cut lemons. I kind of left those out a little bit. And then you squeeze lemons, right? Okay, so you can add all of those in with the group to make it a little bit more fun if they have those hand motions. And then on the goodbye page, that's the last page, it says wave goodbye. That's the end of our session. You're saying this. You did a great job today. See you next time. And then you can cycle through each of the kids and say goodbye, Bob, goodbye, Susie, goodbye, Tom, and cycle through and say goodbye. And that should take 1 minute. So those are all of your slides. It's kind of a lot to remember and to do with a big group, but you could do it. I mean, it's just a learning curve. Many people do. But for your interview, just remember, bring them down to the blackboard so that you can see and say hello to each of the students. Try to get the right adjustments. So, if you're in room box, it won't get to be too big. Not right away. So you don't have that same problem that I had in making the face too big. But if you just so happen to run across that, just try to minimize the pictures so they're not so big. And also the pair work. Remember, pair work is one student with another student. You have the two students up there, and you can type the notes so that they know what to say. and be careful with your timing. Try to not go over, but at the same time, you don't want to rush too. So it's a lot to practice. It is very wise to practice this because it is it's kind of tricky to get your timing down. So yes, if you have any questions about this, I'd love to help and give you some feedback or any answers to anything that I can help you with. My email is always in my description box down below, so you can email me with any questions you may have. And if you're interested in signing up with Bling, if you have not done so already, I would love to be your referral. But in order for you to do that, you just give them my name when you fill out your application. And if you do that, you can email me and let me know, and then I can walk you through the process and help you with any helpful tips along the way. And just to be, a source of encouragement, or if you want anybody to ask questions to, I can walk along with you and help you out. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.